A young girl who was returning from a concert of her favorite performer disappeared without a trace 5 minutes from her home. The police, together with volunteers, began the search, and very soon it became clear to them that the solution to this terrible mystery had been before their eyes all this time. Keely Bunker was born on September 7, 1999 in Tamworth, UK. The city's population was 76,000 people. When she was little, her parents divorced. The girl remained to live with her mother and stepfather. While studying at school, Keely wanted to become a teacher or educator, as she loved children very much. After graduating from school, the girl decided to postpone her teacher education for 1 year and got a job as a waitress. Keely had a busy month in September 2019, celebrating her 20th birthday and planning to go to her favorite singer's concert. The day before, she was offered an interview for the position of assistant teacher in a kindergarten. The interview was scheduled for September 19, the day after the concert. On September 18, Keely and her best friend Monique went to the large city of Birmingham. The girls had a fun time at the center, and then, at about 10 p.m., they decided to meet up with friends at a local club. A few hours later, they decided to go home. The girls and their friend Wesley lived in the same area of Tamworth, so they ordered one taxi and drove to Monique's house. A friend offered to spend the night with her. Keely was a miniature, weighing only 40 kilograms with a height of 150 centimeters. So Monique was seriously worried about her safety. The fragile girl would not be able to fight back. Despite her persuasion, Keely decided that she had better return home to get some sleep and prepare for the interview. Wesley volunteered to accompany her. The girl's house was about 20 minutes away. After this time, a friend wrote a message, but Keely did not respond. Monique called Wesley, and he said they broke up about 5 minutes from her house. Monique decided that Keely was tired and quickly fell asleep, so she didn't answer. In the morning, Keely's mother discovered that her daughter had not returned home. After lunch, a call from the kindergarten came to my home number, wondering why Keely didn't come to the interview. This greatly alarmed the mother, because she knew how much her daughter wanted to get a job. A mother learned from Monique that Wesley was accompanying her daughter. The guy admitted that he didn't bring Keely home because he drank a lot and felt sick. Friends and relatives went in search, and at about 17:00, they decided to inform the police. Wesley confirmed that they separated near a telephone booth. The police decided to take a ride along the route where Keely and Wesley walked at night. The young man willingly volunteered to help, but when he was asked to give his phone, he refused. The guy said that he didn't want strangers to look at personal photos and read messages. The detectives convince him that they are only interested in the geolocation of the smartphone and nothing more. Wesley eventually gave up the phone. At this time, the first clue appeared. Keely's backpack was found in the park. Inside were her clothes and a switched-off phone. A few hours later, her body was found. Volunteers and police heard a piercing scream coming from the park. Uncle Keely, who took part in the search, discovered her body. He decided to inspect a small stream and shine a flashlight there. In the darkness, the man noticed something shiny. As he came closer, he realized that it was a human hand with a bracelet. The girl was lying in the stream. Her trousers were down. A forensic expert determined that the girl had been raped and strangled. Wesley immediately fell under suspicion. During the search, he acted nervous and uncooperative. When they tried to unlock Wesley's smartphone, investigators realized that he had given the wrong password. By examining his phone, police could more accurately track their route and time. However, Wesley accused investigators of trying to pin the blame on him because he was the last person to see the girl that night. In addition, he did not want strangers to see his photos, correspondence, and other personal information. However, the detectives eventually convinced him that they were only interested in the geolocation of the smartphone, and the guy gave it away. CCTV footage showed Wesley and Keely near the park at 4:20 a.m. They quarreled, and the girl tried to run away from him. Wesley was not charged, but was detained by the police to discuss the controversial issues. The investigators assured him that they just wanted to clarify all the controversial issues, and the guy behaved quite relaxed. Detectives, having accessed the phone data, found that he left the park at 6 a.m., after which he returned several times. Wesley denied everything, but soon they found another piece of evidence: his bank card. The map lay a few meters from the crime scene. Investigators presented evidence, after which Wesley told a new story. The guy said he doesn't remember well what happened. They walked down the street and laughed, and then began to jokingly fight. He tried to jump on her back, but Keely fell and hit her head hard. It was a lie. The victim did not have a head injury. Detectives seized the clothes he was wearing that night and sent them to the laboratory. Experts found traces of Keely's DNA and bits of her makeup on his t-shirt. A few days later, an examination confirmed that the DNA on the girl's body matched Wesley Street's DNA. Having learned about this evidence, Wesley had a new version. Everything happened in the park by mutual consent, but at some point Keely stopped breathing. At that moment, his hand was on the girl's neck, but he did not squeeze it. After what happened, he got scared and hid the body in a stream, covering it with branches. During the trial, Wesley continued to stick to the theory that he accidentally killed Keely during intercourse, even though this was inconsistent with her injuries. When asked why he didn't call an ambulance or the police, the guy stated that he was scared and simply didn't know how to explain what happened. The prosecution provided a much more realistic scenario. Apparently, that night Wesley began to harass Keely, but she did not want any intimate relations with him. The girl always considered Wesley as a good friend. The guy, who was very drunk, did not accept refusal and decided to achieve his power. As a result, he subjected the girl to violence and strangled her. After that, he hid her body, returned home, slept for a few hours, and went back to the park to cover her body with branches. He returned there several more times, trying to figure out what to do next. The chronology of these events is confirmed by the geolocation of his phone. This trial was watched by the entire small town, since such crimes were committed there extremely rarely. The story was also heavily covered on television. When the news of Keely's case spread in a small town, 5 girls admitted that he did it against their will. 2 of them were under 18 years old. 3 girls said that the guy committed indecent acts against them against their will, and 2 others said that he subjected them to violence. They were all afraid to go to the police. But when they saw that Wesley had killed the girl, they decided to tell about what happened. As a result, 5 more charges were brought against him. The jury quickly found him guilty of Keely's murder. In August 2020, Wesley was sentenced to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 30 years. He will be able to be released in 30 years if a special commission finds him not dangerous to society. By then, he will be 51 years old. After the verdict was announced, the participants in the trial admitted that Wesley was out of the standard pattern of a rapist. The guy was young and had many friends, and never experienced a shortage of female attention. But despite all this, he committed a crime against at least 6 girls, one of whom died. The one who considered him her close childhood friend